So in this one, we're gonna teach you how to have faster feet. If you've ever heard the cue, have faster feet, this is how. And believe me, I know, because I've done it all the wrong ways. All the wrong ways meaning like how to train it in the gym, off ice, like all those ways. And those work to an extent. People would probably know me as like a player with fast feet because of the training. But it wasn't the fast feet that you see McKinnon, McDavid, Barzal, wasn't their type of fast feet. And I'm gonna tell you the secret to that. Again, it's counterintuitive. So here it is, ready? The third pillar of 5, but here it is. It is don't try to push harder, just move your feet faster. So I'll give you an example. If I'm cruising around on crossovers, I can try to push harder, like I can really get going on my push, or, and this is gonna sound weird, I can just move my feet faster. So I can actually just lift my feet up quicker. Now I know this like looks silly and you're like, you know, Barzal doesn't do that, McDavid doesn't do that, but it's true that you don't actually have to push harder to go faster. You can actually just lift your feet up quicker. So the key to cadence, and I'll show you how to teach it and learn it for yourself in a second, is just to do whatever footwork you have, but just do it faster. So if you have a 10 and 2, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do a 10 and 2 kind of like I see McDavid doing, I can do it slowly with this cadence, or I can do it quickly, like this. The difference isn't how hard you push. The difference is just in how fast you move your feet. So it's kind of like doing a ladder drill, doing it just faster without trying to push harder into the ground. All your coaching is to do is to simply think of doing whatever pattern you're doing, just lifting your feet faster. And why does this work, by the way? Because ice is a little bit different than flat ground. It's a little bit different in the sense that you're not actually pushing down to get your speed and power. In normal dry land, when you're just pushing, you have something called ground reaction forces. So when you're pushing, the more force you can exert, the faster you're gonna go. On the ice, there is all sorts of weird stuff. The way that you generally move is through rotation of your hips. You're using your rocker from heel to toe, and we'll talk about that. And there's so much angular stuff where your feet are sliding all over the place. So speed comes from other areas, like actual speed comes from other areas, not just force. It comes from like your rotational torque, how relaxed you are, how much you can twist, how much you use your rocker. Those are secrets for another day. But today, your main secret is how do you get a faster first step? How do you have quicker feet? And it's literally just by moving your feet quicker. And that's the secret. Again, don't believe me, test it out for yourself, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, no worries. If it does, then you might be interested in the next video that we'll cover next, and we'll link to that later on. And of course, if you want to learn the whole system a lot quicker, the whole downhill skating system on how NHL players move, remember we reverse engineered their movement through video research, and we figured out what are the specific drills that we can teach players that have them move like McKinnon or McDavid or Barzal, and we've created them in a system. You can access that now, and you can get started. So I look forward to seeing you there or in the next video. Thanks for watching. Oh, hey there. My name is Jason, and we're on secret 4 of 5 of what makes NHL players different. And we found these things out when we reverse engineered NHL movement from thousands of hours of video. And we've broken things down into very specific drills that you can learn to move more like them a lot faster, especially because this advice is kind of counterintuitive. So what you saw me doing right there, you might have heard it, it's called the moonwalk. But it is one of the secrets to what makes NHLers different, especially the best NHLers. And why it is so counterintuitive is because everyone thinks of ice being similar to dry land in the sense that, when I push, I go the other direction. When there's no slipperiness, it's just, I can just push and then I go. Like if I step forward, I just go forward. But what's a little different on the ice is there's this slipperiness, and you also have this rocker on the bottom of your foot. Now, the best players in the world use this. What they do is they do a couple things. One is when they're puck protecting or wanting to be deceptive, they have their weight primarily on their heels. So if you look nice and close, my weight is primarily on my heels, and you can see even though the blade is like lightly touching at the toe, most of the weight is actually centered at the heels. And we see this so often. We see this like with up and coming stars like Bedard. We see this with McKinnon, where their movement is so much on their heels, and it allows them to be super steady in all their puck protecting and all their deception mechanics. Like especially if I'm attacking you and I'm moving deceptively one way or the other. So if my weight's on my toes, I can't glide. I end up falling forward. I lose balance. It's just hard to do. And I have tension in my calves. I'm not trying to look ridiculous there. That's what happens. So weight to the heels is a really important thing. Here's the trick. When you use the rocker of the skate, so you actually use the slipping and sliding of the skate, you can just really quickly go from this heel pressure to just really quickly shift into a stride. So if you don't think of your foot as being locked into the ice, but you think of it as being able to slide and you be able to generate forces even when your foot is sliding, you'll notice that you can actually rocker your feet and have your weight heel to toe and generate a whole bunch of movement without actually having to push for every step. And power skating coaches and a lot of coaches teach that push as if it's the only way to move around the ice, but it's not. Your drill for today is just to practice what it's like to have your weight at your heels, what it's like to have your weight at your toes, what it's like to rotate that, and then also just if you stand there with your knees over your toes, where do you feel more tension? Do you feel it when your weight is to your heels or more to your toes? Pay attention to where you feel more balance. That's the fourth secret of NHLers that we found after really close study. This took thousands of hours to figure this one out, was that they use the rocker to get around and to use that in all their footwork and all their mechanics. You can learn that too with the downhill skating system. And like I said, that is the drills that we've learned that are counterintuitive, but that allow players to learn much faster than traditional coaching methods. So that's the rocker, that's the fourth secret. Now, if you want to get the fifth secret, you can wait to watch the next video, or you can also get the whole Train 2.0 system where we go over all of these secrets in a very step-by-step formula. So if you want to do that, we'll link to that below, and I'd love to see you do that. If not, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.